Hello.
What up, man?
What's going on, dude?
Not shit. I was just sitting here looking at that dude.
Who, Thomas Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to draw this, between us here, kind of get a WKAT feel, wanted to get your thoughts.
Well, I mean, my first thought was, like, looking at the dude. Okay, when I first saw the article pop up a couple days ago, I was like, well, interesting, you know what I mean? Because I saw the description, and I was like, that's interesting. And when I clicked the article, they showed a picture of that hat and coat, and I thought, well, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's like the suspect's described around 5'7" with reddish breath. Like they just described the bridge guy, and I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, wait a minute. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. A lot of people dress like that.
Yeah, it's getting winter.
Why would the bridge guy be in St. Louis? Is first what I'm thinking. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably just coincidental. Well, then it comes out, and it's like they arrested the dude, and he's from Indiana. And I'm like looking at that, and I'm sitting there and looking at, okay, he has on the blue coat, the hat that is in the sketch. You can't tell what kind of hat he's got on in the bridge guy picture. But then he's got a brown fucking shirt on in his mugshot.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy either wants to look like this dude or is this dude.
Did you catch my last video on him?
I haven't seen that one. The last one I was watching was, and I haven't finished it yet, the deer stand.
Well, yeah, the deer stand's really quick, man.
I know. That's the one I just started watching.
But anyway, in that, I was talking about the fact that this man, Thomas Bruce, had never committed a crime before.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I was looking at.
And that's kind of crazy,
said that.
Given the fact of the crime that he committed. I mean, they're probably seeking death down there for him for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the guy was a pastor, man.
I know, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. Like, maybe we need to look at something like a pastor or a cop or something like that for the Delphi crime.
Well, yeah, I just want to point out that we never would have came across this guy.
No, never would have. I never would have even looked twice at him, even if I saw a mugshot.
If we was looking at local pastors going, we probably would have got the eye for that.
Yeah, we got kicked out of another church.
Got kicked out of one more, yeah. Holman would have showed up. We knew you'd be here. We've been watching your posts, people.
But I mean, I was curious about it, so I was reading into it a little bit more, and just I tried to call the state police this morning and was trying to ask anything, but they're like, yeah, we don't have any comment on that yet.
Well, here's kind of a thing that I found out about the guy. One, he committed bankruptcy. Okay, he filed bankruptcy in January of 2017.
Okay.
Now, he was a State Farm agent at that time, and the guy that he was working for said that he resigned early in 2017. Yeah, so, I mean, that kind of struck me as a little odd. And, and that kind of puts him as a, maybe somebody living between houses.
Right. Definitely a person of interest, other than, and the only other person with a person of interest was Daniel Nations, so it's like, looking at this guy, based on what he's wearing, that was the first indicator, which really surprised me, but I mean, based on the nature of his crime, that he'd never committed a crime before. He's from Indiana, and he just walks into this place and does this.
Yeah.
Orders all the women to undress, sexually assaults them, and then shoots one.
Well,
or more. I don't know how many he shot, but it's like, what the hell?
The reason that he shot that lady, man, is because there was 3 women, and he had the other 2, I'm just going to put it like the article put it, perform deviant sex on him. And the 3rd lady refused, and he shot her in the head.
Dang.
Yeah, that's pretty vicious, man.
That is vicious.
That does not come off as a first crime, much in the same way as Delphi doesn't come off as a first crime.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like something that heinous. It's like, you know, you would have to imagine that this has been in his mind for a while.
Yeah. And I mean, if he's traveling around doing this, you know, then he would be like a wannabe serial killer, or maybe he isn't a serial killer. We don't know. You know, we don't really know if he's done this other than that. Now, if he did commit the Delphi crime, I would say he's done it in between now and then.
Well, you know what? They already know whether he committed the Delphi murders or not.
I would say they do.
Well, you see, they have two eyewitnesses that can look at a picture of this guy and say, yes, that's positively him. And
yep.
I'm positive that that's already been done right there.
Yep. And since he like raped these women or whatever, there's his DNA.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They got that.
Yeah. They don't even need probable cause. They already got it. As soon as he's
already got
convicted, then yeah. But you see, that'll be a piece down the road. I mean, unless they say, yeah, you know, you can get over on that death penalty by pleading guilty. You know, we'll give you a life, this and that. And he may do that. But
right.
I'm pretty sure that we got enough to go on with the eyewitnesses to say, yeah, that's positively the guy or not. But I am kind of, I'm in curiosity as to why they haven't come out and said anything. I mean, they know. I'll put it to you like this. Lesenby knows right now whether that's him or not.
Yeah. Yeah, they know. Because, well, they just know. You know what I mean?
They have eyewitnesses.
Like they got all these secrets and eyewitnesses. They got a lot more stuff than what they've ever told us.
They have the eyewitnesses that can say. And we know that they have two of them. They're the ones that gave the details for the sketch. Of course they would know it's him. You know?
Yeah. Now, the only thing that threw me off a little bit was he's got more of a whitish beard, you know, and he's bald. But we can't, I mean, we can't tell if that's a hat or that dude's hair in that picture. You know what I mean? Like, you really can't tell. But the sketch, okay, if we just picture this dude with his hair growing out a little bit, it does have a reddish tint. I can tell that by his goatee. But that, I don't know. You can't base it on the sketch because I don't think the sketch looks much like the bridge guy anyway.
You know, it's kind of hard to say, but it was like when that sketch first came out and I looked at it and then the bridge guy photos, I'm like, it don't look like the same guy to me. But then
it don't look like the same guy to me.
You know, in the bridge guy pictures, you can't really see anything about his face. You just can't. Anything that's there is very pixelated, and it's like you can't really see it, you know?
Yeah, I know. But they can see it when they look at that video.
They can see it better than us.
Yeah, they can see it way better than us.
And yeah, you know, you're right. That, I mean, the guy's got like a white facial hair. And that ain't really the way that it was described, I don't think, in that sketch. But then again, if you go back almost 2 years ago, if you look at pictures that are a couple years before that, when his head wasn't shaved, his hair did have a darker reddish-brown tint to it.
Did it? Because I haven't really looked into it a whole lot because I've been, you know, out there in the boonies with my family and stuff. But but since I've been back here today, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, yeah, the dude's even got a brown shirt on, you know? Like in this mug shot that I'm looking at.
It's probably the same one. Okay.
Do what?
I said it's probably the same one or something.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, okay, the dude is dressed identical to the bridge guy. Like, how coincidental is that? You know? Like, it just, either that dude wanted to dress like that day and just happened to be, like, that coincidental that he wore all the exact same shit, or he knew about the Delphi crime and wanted to dress like that to throw people off, or it's the same dude.
Yeah, you know, it was the clothing that I heard of first, and then when I looked into it, when I seen the guy, I'm like, wow, you know, I mean, the eyes kind of really stood out to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, it looks a lot like the guy, you know, he dresses in a like manner. He had never committed a crime before, and yet this is his first one. Again, pretty remarkable. So, I mean...
And he's from Indiana.
He's from Indiana?
Yeah, he's from Jefferson County.
I thought that was St. Louis.
Oh, I thought that was St. Louis County that he was arrested in. But they were saying a Jefferson County man, you know, is one of the Indiana news articles that was saying. So Jefferson County, where's the Jefferson County, Indiana?
Huh. Yeah? Would be odd. I never caught that part to it. I thought it was speaking about down there in Missouri. I figured Jefferson Counties are in like every state, you know.
Yeah, you know, so I think that's St. Louis County that he committed the crime in. But I'm pretty sure it said Jefferson County, Indiana, which is southern.
Yeah, it's southern.
Which would make us right about the down the hill out, yo. A southern accent.
Yeah,
close to Kentucky.
Right, because, I mean, that was kind of always my take on the accent. It sounded more like lightly southern, like Kentucky. You know, like right down in that area.
Yep.
And I mean, that was all I could really take from it. But even that is kind of iffy because it's kind of distant and rustly. You know, it's very hard to tell anything in that audio.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not long. It's not like a long extended conversation where you can hear how he says certain things, you know?
You know what? That's something else that we got is that when this guy goes to court and they get video of that, of him speaking, we will have like a comparison to the audio of Down the Hill.
Yep. Yeah, we will. I really want to hear that. I want to see how he walks, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I would as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of you know, I think that the only thing that this would defeat is my theory that he came out of Delphi. But the thing is that if he was in a vehicle, of course he would have had to have been, to get back down there, then why wouldn't law enforcement ever discuss a possible vehicle? You know, why was that left out of the equation entirely?
Maybe that's one of the cars they were talking about where they were holding on to that and not letting anybody know that they knew that because they wanted to catch him in that car. You know, maybe they didn't have a license plate number or something, but if they said, well, it's a blue truck, you know, and they're looking for this guy in a blue truck and he doesn't know that they know that.
Right.
Then, you know, then that may be one of the things that they've been holding out on and not telling us. Well, just in case he did commit a crime, they'd know.
I'm kind of with you to a degree, but at the same time, if somebody goes in and robs a bank and they got video of the guy doing that Andy's getaway car, that's the first thing they flash on the screen, and they don't really care because it don't really compromise the case. If they felt that the guy was local and they gave this vehicle that they felt he could have been driving, I think that could have cleared things up rather quickly locally.
Yeah. Yeah, because then someone may recognize, said, well, you know, I know someone that dresses like that drives this kind of car.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do know that person, yeah.
Precisely. So, you know, maybe they didn't have a make of car. Maybe nobody really seen the car, which would be kind of hard to, but maybe it's possible. But for whatever reason, and it's like Leslie said, they never mentioned the vehicle. They never did. Never brought it up. Never talked about a parking spot. Never said shit about a vehicle.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm in high hopes.
Yeah, I would like for it to be him. I would. I mean, I would put it into it. But, man,
I would too.
If it is him, then do we still not have a job to do?
Yeah, big time.
Because that would have to be done.
I still got to punch this motherfucker in the face when he gets here.
No. That hasn't been decided as to whom does that yet. We might need to draw straws or something.
Yeah. I'm hopeful, man, but like the cop said, it's too premature for us to know. I mean, they know. Well, and if they come out and say it's him, then shit, dude, I'll just be like I'll be in so much shock that I wouldn't even believe it at the time. You know, like it's like almost hard to believe.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Understand. Because, I mean, there's protocol to a case. You know, definitely. Right. But the thing is they know already. But they're not going to tell us until at which time he is charged with it.
Yep.
Now, that might take a while for them to charge him for this because he's down there on a trial that involves possibly first-degree murder, depending on how they want to play that. And it might be a while till they press the charges. But they know already.
Yeah.
Now, how is it that we would know that they know?
I don't know.
Well, what would indicate that they know who did it?
A press conference.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do that till he was charged, man.
True. I mean, we could look on my case and see, you know, if anything's popping up.
Well, yeah, but okay, as soon as they was going to charge him that fast, I mean, at the moment that they charged him with it would be like right before the press conference.
Yep, saying that they just charged him pretty much.
That way it is known publicly beforehand.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful, really. I am. And it sucks, man. If it is the guy, then fuck, man. Everybody was right. It took another one to happen before he was caught.
Well, that goes back to Sheriff Lesenby's bold statement that there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. No, you know what? We're confident we're going to solve this. It's all right. Nothing to worry about. And, I mean, I had at least stated, now that was probably on my old channel, that depending, I mean, the guy who had did this, you know, depending upon his reasonings and his motives, if he got like a thrill out of it, I mean, that is what makes a serial killer, you know, right there.
Yep. And it pushed his drive, and then he had to do it again.
Man, dude, you know what? Look, this guy was a preacher, okay? A freaking preacher that started a church. Now, why would he go commit, like, the crime down there in St. Louis? What would be his reasoning for that? You know, what would be in his mind? I mean, that seems so bizarre that a 53-year-old preacher would go do something like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was some really heavy shit that he was dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah, do we know that if he knew those ladies or not? I mean, no. He living there? Does anybody know?
No, he didn't know them. He went in as a customer, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he went back out to his vehicle to go get a credit card, but came back with a gun, ordered the lady and the two customers back into a back room, and the rest transpired.
Man.
Yeah, and sodomy, you know? He, like, did it up the backside, man. You know, and, like, deviant sex. And I'm like, man, that's... I mean, if you're looking at that from a Christian point of view, that's pretty demonic.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't no escape. That's just not the... that's not the good guy playing the cards there.
No. Kind of makes you just wonder, you know, like, what the hell is this dude's deal?
Yeah, what is?
Even if he's not the Delphi dude, I mean, what the hell drove him to do that?
You know what? Even if you take Delphi out of the equation, that is a crazy story.
It is.
You know, just the one about Thomas Bruce. That is a crazy enough story just on its own. But I'm telling you, if that ties to Delphi, man, this shit will be national news. Mega national.
Big time. Yeah, big time. I can't wait for someone to say something. You know, just someone. I kind of want to talk to Flannel Shirt Guy. You know, I doubt he'll say anything, but I just want a nod of the head or something, you know?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be him.
Mm-hmm. Please be him.
Well,
I hope.
If it is him, I mean, again, it would at least be over. You know, the guy would have been caught. Now, I think one of the last times that we had talked, before the last time, I had mentioned that it could be a Thanksgiving surprise. And oddly enough, when this news came out, was the day before Thanksgiving, I believe.
Yep.
So, you know, it kind of played in a little bit to what I was hopeful of, but I was kind of hoping that CC Moore would have had the guy at that before that time.
No, I know. I know. It makes me wonder, like, what's going on? What are they doing? I don't know. It's got a lot of questions. You know, I just want an answer. Yes or no. Is it the guy or not?
Yeah.
Everybody does, too. I mean, I don't know, man. I would say that it's really coincidental that all that's happening. But,
well, okay.
If it turns out just to be a coincidence, then that's even more crazy.
All right. So if I was to ask you what you felt the odds were, what would you give me?
At this moment in time, I mean, I would say that we're probably looking at like a 35 to 40% chance it's him.
You know what? That's about where I was. I was thinking about the same. I was thinking probably in all likelihood it may not be, but then again, I mean, I'm still on the side that maybe it's a lot like the Iowa girls. Maybe it's a lot of the similarities that makes you look twice at it. But right. I think that everything, the way that it's looking right now, this guy is probably, to me, about in the same boat as Daniel Nations was. I mean, I think that right now he is the highest person of interest. And I've only had the two ever. That was it.
Yeah.
Daniel Nations and this guy.
Yeah.
But yep. I do give it its probability, you know, that it could be him. It very well may be him. It would explain some things like, well, if the guy was from Delphi, how's come nobody would know him by the picture of the sketch? You see?
Yeah.
Because if the guy lived in Delphi, and I mean, this was always my thing on it, well, if the guy did live in Delphi, why wouldn't somebody know who this fucker is?
Yeah, true.
I mean, there's only so many men in Delphi. And, you know, there would only be so many that could look like that two people had seen. So if we take, you know, the guy living in Delphi out of it, then, you know, it could be him, you know. But CC Moore said that every guy, where she ran them down by their DNA, all lived within 25 miles of the crime scene. That many years later, they lived within 25 miles of that crime scene. But 250? And to come all the way up here to a small trail, that strikes me as very odd. Very odd.
Yep. Yep. And what strikes me as real odd is if it is the same guy and that's the same outfit, what a dumbass.
Well, that,
you know, he's still wearing that same shit.
That could be his
trademark.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like his get up for such, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, I'm going to put my coat and hat on.
Bridge guy attire on.
Yeah, the bridge guy attire.
Finally, justice is served. Yeah, I hope it's him, man. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm like at 35-40%. It's him. But it's awfully coincidental. It's way more coincidental than Daniel Nations. I mean, the dude had on the same shit.
Yeah. You know, I think that another thing that I'm looking at is if you look at the bridge guy pictures and him, it don't really stand out like it's him.
Right.
You know, it really don't look like that guy. But then again, who in the hell does that guy look like? Nobody. You know, it like really depends upon picture 1, 2, or 3. 3, his face looks different than 1 or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be, I mean, that bridge picture could be anybody. I mean, it looks like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the bridge guy picture now, and it's like, okay, I don't even know if that's the same dude or not, you know? But the description definitely is the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the clothes is the same guy.
Never committed a crime before.
Never committed a crime before. Exactly.
Had filed bankruptcy in January 2017. Resigned from his job shortly thereafter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a reason for him to freak out, I guess, and go start doing weird stuff. You know? So, I don't know.
Well,
it's like, but yeah, you should look into that Jefferson County thing, because I'm pretty sure that's Jefferson County, Indiana, that they're talking about.
You know what? I will check into that, because I didn't really think Jefferson County, Indiana, but if so, he's just barely over the Indiana border. You know, he's not that far in.
Yeah.
It don't really bring him up to Carroll County.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, what was he doing up here? Or what's he doing down there?
Well,
you know, is he just traveling around doing this?
I mean, 250 miles, man, that's a long way to go. I mean, I could see maybe somebody going to commit a crime where they don't want to do it in their backyard, but then again, look what he did down there. I mean, like, holy crap, he walked into, like, a strip mall and, you know, did this in a store, shot a lady dead, I mean, and then went home. So, the guy is definitely ballsy, and I give him that, and the guy in Delphi was ballsy as well.
Yeah.
And another oddity is up here, it was 2 young girls. Okay?
Yep.
Now, down there, they was all in their, like, 50s. To my knowledge. The lady that he shot and killed was, I think, 52 or 53.
Wow.
So there is a difference in ages.
Right. But there's also the similarities, and he took more than one person at once.
You know what? Here's another thing. Delphi police have said that there are similarities between the 2 crimes. So what can we take from that in similarities between this crime and that crime is, 1, the way that the guy was dressed is a similarity.
Right.
But is that all that we can take from it?
I would say there's probably more than that.
Well, what would you think would be the similarity?
The gun.
Well,
I think that the gun.
Nobody's seen the gun.
Nobody's seen the gun here, but law enforcement may know if the guy had a gun here or not. And we can assume he had a gun here, because how could you control 2 people like that? Unless it was a sex crime here that we just don't know. And
that's what I was kind of alluding to right there.
I mean, if he raped these girls here or whatever, or did the similarity, you know, like sodomize the girls here as he did there, then that would definitely say, okay, yeah, this could be the guy for sure if he did that.
Exactly. So, you know, and that's kind of the part that I was bringing up, is that if there are any similarities between these crimes, aside of the way he's dressed, that's the only one that I could really relate it to, would be from the sexual aspects.
Yeah. And we still don't know how the girls were killed.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't.
You know, so if he did shoot them, and it's with the same weapon, they know.
Well, you see, I don't think that he would have done that up here if it was him. I mean, you got to remember, the guy had some tools, and I think that he was looking for something a little bit different. You know, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, man. I don't know what to make of it right now. I mean, it's just like I'm shocked, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I was wanting to make a video about it, but I don't know which direction to go with, you know? I mean, I could throw out all the similarities and what we think, but it's like, shit, I was just kind of waiting for them to say something.
I think it's going to be a while. And like I said, they already know. They don't need the DNA to prove I mean, well, maybe to help prove it. But they got the 2 eyewitnesses that can definitely look at this guy and say, yes, that's the guy, or no, that ain't the dude I seen at all. And they would know. Now, if they know it isn't him, they're still not going to say anything. They're still not going to say anything.
Exactly.
Because they never will. They never do.
Yeah, they never said anything about Daniel Nations and Ron Logan. They still can't say if any one of them cleared. You know?
Yeah, and like, that's shitty, man.
And if they can't say that, then they're not going to say that about him. You know?
All right. Well, anyway, I wanted to get your take on it and see what your thoughts were. I'm going to get started on this video. I will edit where need be.
Okay, cool. All right, man. I'll be looking for it.